All right, guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Next Level podcast. Today's guest is Johannes Mcevoy, local coach here in Halifax who has actually been blowing up recently. He's quite accomplished in powerlifting himself. What's your best total?
In a meet, I think it was 1742.
Yes,
I think
that's up there.
in the gym in the 1800s.
Fuck yeah, okay. And he's PS1 certified as of recently. PSL, I guess.
Prescript level 1.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And of course, myself, Jeremy Stone, and Dylan Teeple. So what we're going to talk about today is just some general advice for beginner powerlifters. So I wanted to start with diet. Actually, that's something that's close to you. You enjoy the diet stuff. So what would you give as advice to a beginner powerlifter, someone just maybe getting into the sport in general? What should they be thinking about diet-wise?
Few things, I would say the biggest thing would be eating regularly, right? Making sure you get enough meals throughout the day, because most people I find just don't eat enough, or they'll try and load all the food into the evening, right?
Yeah.
I think they can get all the calories in a couple hours. But for beginner powerlifters, I'd obviously, what everyone else says is a lot of protein, right? I try and do the higher amount of protein to try and put on some muscle and stuff. And then personally for me and some of my clients, I do higher carbs on training days and a little lower non-training days, since you're not as active and stuff like that. And then fats I kind of just keep pretty regularly. I tend to put a little bit more fats in the non-training days opposed to the training days. And I'll put the higher intakes of carbs pre and post workout personally, for myself and most of my clients. And then other things would be water, right? Your standard stuff, 2.5 to I'd say 2.5 to 4 liters of water a day. And then what we touched on last week would be sodium, right?
Yeah.
A good amount of sodium. Yeah. Improves blood flow and stuff, and potassium to prevent cramping and stuff like that. Basically, that's the basics. And then you can get real specific, whether you want to gain weight or you want to maintain or you want to lose weight, then that's basically what I'd say. And have a variety of things, right? Don't neglect your fruit and vegetables, which a lot of beginners do. They just focus on proteins and carbs, and they don't eat enough micronutrients, which is
IFYM mindset, right?
Yeah.
Hit with your macros, but you don't really focus on the actual micronutrient side of things. Which is a huge factor. Right?
Oh god, for sure. Micronutrients super important. And myself, I just personally love fruits and vegetables, so I just eat them randomly throughout the day. And then touching on sleep and stuff, that's a little outside of nutrition, but it goes right hand in hand, right? Get an adequate amount of sleep. But for the basics, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Start anyways, yeah.
How about yourself? Anything you would add to that or change?
No, you nailed it down. So it's what Teeple was saying, it's the same stuff. So it's just, I think the big focus people should take is going to be a lot of micronutrients. Like I said, it's not hard to get the carbs, fats, proteins down.
Yeah, totally.
You're getting adequate micronutrients, stuff. How much sodium are you bringing in, right? How much are you sweating? Are you sweating a lot? Where are you getting your vitamin D from? Are you outside enough? Are you supplementing there? Are you getting are you getting your omega-3s from actual diet? Are you eating only chicken? You're not getting a lot of healthy fats. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. Iodine's a big one. Deficient in iodine.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah, so actually use table salt.
Yeah, or just I think cranberry juice is actually fresh cranberry juice.
Yeah, it's something I wanted to bring up with you guys for this too is what have you guys found in these kind of newer lifters that you're dealing with? What are their deficits? What do you see often with newer lifters that they're not doing?
Honestly, for a few people, it's going to be a mix of everything.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people get into powerlifting because it's kind of that lazy sport.
Yeah.
It's not bodybuilding, right?
Yeah, they don't have to chicken broth.
No, you don't have to. It's more that I can be lazy outside of the gym type of sport where bodybuilding's at 24/7.
Yeah, I just have to hit main lifts and don't have to do accessories.
So it's everything, right? I have a client. He rotates night work and all that type of stuff. Sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, you eat today?" It's 8 p.m. and he's like, "No."
Mobility's huge too.
And that's a big one.
That's one that lacks so many people. Even people that are super experienced, right? I personally know bodybuilders and stuff that have been doing it. Bodybuilders, powerlifters that have been doing it for years, and they just lack mobility just because it's not a focus for them. But they don't actually realize you need to be mobile to actually move weight correctly and reducing your risk of getting hurt, right? Because if you can't bend, you break.
Yeah,
kind of
you
thing,
can't get
right?
into that position
I've learned that myself the hard way a few times, and it sucks.
I think
right?
everyone has.
Yeah.
So I think one thing I've noticed with my own clients is to go back to diet is just eating regular amounts of protein throughout the day rather than maybe once or twice during the day. So just a small thing you can add to someone's daily diet quickly that will hopefully make a benefit is just spreading out their protein consumption throughout the day in small boluses, right? So like, for example, I have one client who didn't have his first feeding of protein until his lunch break. So I just tell him, look, he would wake up in the morning and have some type of carb, just add a shake to that. And then you're already, benefiting from increased anabolism or like building muscle first thing in the morning rather than, all the way until lunch.
Yeah, like the body's gonna want what it wants when it wants it.
Yeah.
So you can't just say give it. You're not going to get the same benefit eating 200 grams of protein throughout the day if you have that large 14-hour gap there. Sorry, from like your last night all the way there.
Yeah.
While recovery is occurring through that whole time, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So and just eating routinely in general through the day can be an issue for some people. Like. Or people that undereat, like they're, what do you eat first thing in the morning? Oh, well, I have a piece of toast, and then I eat at 2 p.m. Like, all right, let's add something on the front end there so that you have some calories, going through your day. That's kind of low hanging fruit for.
Yeah, like for people that like undereat, I find like with newer people, that's the biggest thing. Like newer clients, like to lifting or general fitness or whatever, they think they're eating a lot more than what they're actually eating. They're like, I'm eating 5,000-6,000 calories. It's like, really? It's like, I've actually done that. And I can barely do it, and I could barely do it at 275 pounds.
Yeah, you maybe done it like once or twice this month.
When you're actually eating that amount
every day,
that's an insane, and it's so uncomfortable. Like, you just have a hard time. But like with a newer client, I would say if they're not eating regularly, I would just start them with like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just eat your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, good amounts, and then add in a fourth meal or add in a larger snack.
Yeah, or, just a shake and a granola bar or somewhere in the day.
Yeah, because
you're rolling.
Exactly, because I had a client that like literally like barely ate nothing, and I literally like she had like maybe 1 or 2 meals a day, and then I put her on just 3 solid meals a day, and her weight went up like that. She gained 10 pounds in a month.
Yeah,
like because she just wasn't used to eating. Yeah, she wasn't used to eating.
Muscle, new gains, weight coming in.
Yeah, like no body fat changes really like within a point or so.
It's like when you give your body what it wants to grow, it'll grow.
It'll actually grow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll shoot this over to you then for the next one. So, advice for beginner powerlifters in terms of exercise and programming. So, what would you maybe tell someone to do in the gym? What lifts, perhaps? How to structure a program? What they should be doing?
Yeah. So, especially if you're a beginner, I think actually shifting over towards that the law of specificity, like doing your blow bar, your comp movements, your comp squat, comp bench, and comp deadlift more frequently, especially as a newer lifter, is very, very important.
Yeah,
because again,
totally.
Especially early on, it's all neural. Like everything you're growing and gaining of that huge jump you get in the gym, it's all neural adaptations. You're not really getting stronger per se. You're getting better at expressing the strength, right? So getting very good at the movements would be something. Yeah, I'd say focusing a lot on there, especially if you're a beginner and you haven't been in the gym long. Actually gaining muscle very aggressively, pushing your accessories
for sure,
and prioritizing those as well. Like it's less is always more. So training 4 or 5 days a week is more than enough. But I think just prioritizing your accessories and actually doing those lifts and not maxing out every week.
Yeah, don't fucking max out every week.
Yeah, I was guilty of that for the first 10 years of me training.
Bro, it's fun. It's fun, right? I remember when I was younger and I first got into like squatting. I was doing only lifting at this time. I was like, cool, I'm gonna get a big squat. So I did a max single every single day. I got hurt, as you'd expect. But it's like, it's gonna work great until it doesn't.
Still though, like I would rather someone train like not to that extent, but as a new person, like train harder and heavier like that, than to train like a bitch. And barely have no intensity. Because you're gonna get better results if you train harder. You're gonna risk getting injured for sure. But me personally, I'd rather them risk it a little bit than to not have any intensity at all. Because any intensity at all, like it's just.
I think that's a good point too, where people will talk about like staying in the pocket, but the pocket has a low end too. Like if you, like we don't want you when people say stay in the pocket, they're talking about not maxing out, but they're also talking about on the low end, like don't fucking train like a pussy. Like you actually have to put in effort.
Yeah.
And try to do, you know, rep work and things that are above 3 reps and actually trend those things upwards, and make sure you're logging your workouts so that you can see what you did last week and then try to improve on it in some way, whether it be weight or reps or volume, sets, less fucking rest time, something, progress in some way.
Yeah, and I know this is where we differ a lot in our like thought process behind coaching. I'm not a big intensity guy per se on like the main
You
lifts.
shifted me
closer
or away from the extreme.
Yeah, it's like the research that we just don't need it, but it also like to learn RPE and to actually learn how to auto-regulate yourself properly, you have to fly close to the sun.
Yeah.
You have to, right? So there's always times where like, you have to give these newer lifters like chances to do a 5 rep max.
Yeah.
Hey man, RPE 9. When I give you a 9,
Yeah.
I'm saying 10. You know what I mean? I don't want to write 10.
To most people,
Yeah, I'm giving you a 9, go for it.
Yeah, I had to tell one of my clients that the other day.
Yeah.
He was like, I gave him a 9 to 9.5, and then he was like, fuck, man, I'm worried it might be a 10. I'm like, if I say 9.5,
it's 10.
as long as you're not a fucking idiot, it's
literally
10.
what I
Just like, just don't fail the 5th rep, and I'm happy, right? So,
yeah, like if you're testing like you're trying to test strength wise, like for a beginner, I would do like anywhere from 3s to 5 rep maxes rather than under that, because they're not experienced enough to handle heavy singles, doubles, whatever.
Yeah.
So you can still gauge their strength really good. Like whereas most of my clients are like lifestyle, a few powerlifters. I know you're just powerlifter, but yeah, like there's tons of different ways of doing it for sure. But I love pushing the intensity within reason. You know what I mean? Like I just am a big believer in intensity, because like pushing past like the pain barriers again within reason. It's more safe to do harder with the accessories because you're less likely to get hurt with an arm curl than you are with like doing a heavy triple or a single on squat, right?
And then but it comes the same thing too with the intensity factor. It's like cool.
Yeah.
Even the recovery benefit, right? It's like if you do a heavy set of like 5, 6 on squats and RP like 9, 10.
Yeah.
How bad is that going to affect like the rest of their sets?
Yeah.
Versus if say we do a max two sets of max like hack squat.
Yeah.
Like the benefit is going to be a little different, right? Like you're going to get real good hypertrophy out of that hack squat. You can be able to actually push the target muscle to failure.
Yeah.
Versus like that squat, your brace is probably failing, not your quads.
Yeah, there's a lot of
brace.
And it's like
exactly.
Right, so it's like just that
lose that
fatigue.
external stability.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
you're like, you just can't output the same way.
No, and it's like at that point, it's the fatigue you're getting for that stimulus on that back squat versus over on a hack squat.
Yeah. But then it comes down to also like, okay, well, how experienced is this person?
Yeah.
How strong is this person?
Yeah.
Like, and giving them the gains that they might see on like a tempo low bar actually might really encourage them to keep going with it. So there's a fucking balance.
Yeah.
But
you have to meet in the middle somewhere. Right?
Yeah.
All
So that's why you
depends
should
on
trickle a
the
little bit of everything. I feel
like
have some machine work, have some high reps, close to failure hack squats, but also have like you said, keep it specific too. You need some specificity, whether it's low bar or some close variation like an SSB or high bar or something. But yes, because you need to be developing that skill.
Yeah.
Another big thing I find people like who are just starting lose out on is, and this is just people who start in the gym in general, is like not tracking your workouts. Like track your sets and reps and make sure that every week you look at what you did last week and go, oh, I did 10 on this. I actually have to do 11 today, or 5 more pounds, or what have you.
Yeah.
That's
and it might not even be like that's another thing with like videos. Tell me where it was as a powerlifter. It's like, okay, maybe you didn't add weight to the bar, but your head position was better.
Does it look better?
Exactly, but
quality,
it looks better. Yeah, it looks better and it felt better. That's still progressive overload, right?
Or you could have done 2 more.
You had a
slower
tempo
was,
you control.
You just had a better quality output, right?
That's actually a really good point. Like there's tons of different ways of progressing besides just increasing weight. Like slowing the tempo down, having a better muscle contraction, controlling it better, having a longer pause.
That's
Just
something
different
I
things
really
like
push
that.
on you.
Yeah, like shorter rest periods or something, depending. The control and stuff, right? Like
actually, that's a really good point that I would love to talk about. Is that one of the best things that I've used as a coach to make someone progress in their lifts is tempo. So like if you take someone's bench and then say, okay, every rep I want you to control it down for 4 to 5 seconds, like after 2 months they're smashing PRs just because they've learned to control every single portion of that movement versus just kind of flailing under the bar and whatever happens. Like once they build that control, man, they're just like the sky's the limit.
And like even with the tempo bench specifically, it teaches line drive.
Oh yeah.
Right? If you're having trouble with line drive or like having a good rip position, that high touch point, it's perfect. Right?
Yeah.
You have to continuously drive the whole time, or you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's so hard, man. Like we're doing 5s with tempos on bench. Like in the past, I've always done tempos, but like we do like 3 reps and under. But it's the first time I've done 5s with tempos, and I'm like, oh my god, to keep myself tight, my like lats, everything engaged for 5 reps for 5 seconds down. It's like. It's so hard. You have to take the ego hit. You got to drop the weight, obviously, but as you progress, you're going to be way stronger.
In 3 to 4 weeks, what you were capable of week 1 versus now. Now your sets of 5 reps with 5-second tempo descents look good at the end of the set, and so that's that. And now I'm getting you close to failure with better technique with way less weight because we just did a meet.
And keeping the tempo, like. When you do tempo, people, I see some people, especially beginners, they say they're doing tempo and it's maybe 3 seconds, 2 seconds down.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on like the length of the tempo you're going for, but actually make it a true tempo and all the way through, which I actually had an issue with for a while. Like we're at tempo to like an inch above my chest and then I kind of drop it. But now I can maintain like the whole tempo all the way to the chest, like a good firm pause and then press.
Yeah, that's hugely lost on people. Like, sorry.
No, I would say one good thing too with giving the tempos, I always try to give like an extra second longer than I actually want.
Yeah,
everyone fucks up the tempo, man.
That's
everyone
would say 5 if you actually want.
Yeah, everyone want 4, and there's like everyone ruins the tempo because someone will rush it a little bit. They can't count, or everyone goes 1, 2, 3, but
or they put too much weight on.
Yeah. Even with that, man, it's like the tempos are humbling.
Yeah,
like I'm my best.
I know they are.
Yeah, my best.
But fuck, it feels sorry.
I would say, like my best bench is like 474, but I'm doing tempos with 330.
So
it's like 140 pounds off.
But it feels great to progress. Like when you add 50 pounds to your tempo lift, you're like, fuck yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, week 1 compared to week 4 when we started with the bench, like the tempo just after our meet, I started the tempos I think with 250, 245, 250 for the 3 sets of 5-second tempo, and I just did yesterday or the day before I did 270 for 3 sets of 5-second tempo.
So over the so
and they were way cleaner tempo all the way through. So it's just
so next block. This is super specific and we're kind of off topic, but when we drop a couple reps, now you'll be in the 3s with way more control throughout the entire movement, not dumping, not sinking. Like that's what we want, right?
And then that's to translate over really well. To make your actual press way more efficient.
Exactly.
Same with tempo squats. Like I remember, I
love tempo squats.
I'm running through with like knee issues. Great way for me to do actually do something heavy, and then you're good to go. Now I'm transitioning over to just regular comp squats. Feels easy breeze.
And it's pause squats are the best.
I like when you go from doing something tempo to doing something just to a comp standard. I find that I still kind of maintain some of the tempo. Like you can go a little faster, but you're in control of every portion now. And you're not dumping like, oh man, I think that so tempo and everything. Tempo descent deadlifts, tempo descent squats, tempo descent bench, and even my accessories. I've been doing anything that's on a machine now. I'm doing 3 to 4 second tempo descent.
And I will say this too: if you ever want to get a really good little trick for sumo to fix any starting position, those slow tempo eccentric deadlifts.
And no one does that with sumo.
No, really few people do, man. But it fixes problems after like maybe 1-2 blocks. You'll find and fix that starting position so well because it gets you exactly where your hips want to be. That off.
That's why I give it for conventional too. Even conventional, like where you can kind of pull from like not the greatest position and muscle through it. Like if you're doing tempo descents, if you're doing tempo descents, the bar will land exactly where it needs to be for you to do the next rep,
and your hips will be where exactly.
You can.
If you're really actually focusing on it.
I guess wrapping that part up would just be. Just any exercise at all that you do, just practice controlling the weight. Like it doesn't have to be super slow, but you don't want to just be flying through the rep, rushing it. Just go lighter weight, really control it, and you'll be way better off. Strength and muscle gain wise.
And if you're trying to compete with your buddies in the gym and have nice lifts and be strong, if you check your ego and actually learn to control the weights and not let the weights control you,
that's true.
Then you will eventually fly past these people that have no technique but are just strong genetically.
And I think too, bringing that up, like people, especially beginners, right? Since this is what this is
So,
About?
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, with beginners too, you have to realize like strength is a long game.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
You'll have these kids who are 18, 19, 20 lifting all this crazy weight, but they've been doing it since they were 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I started.
Exactly. They've been lifting
yeah.
for 6, 7, 8 years, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
don't expect you to come into sport in 1, 2 years to be putting up in crazy numbers and then comparing yourself to those type of people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a long game, right? Usually peak strength, like you're like your mid 20s, or late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, and
something
people
like
with
that.
like talk about like
Even
strength.
40s.
Yeah, strength wise, I hear
Yeah.
I hear so many people that like are interested in powerlifting and stuff, and they're like, I'm not strong enough to do powerlifting. I hear this all
Yeah.
the time.
Just
I'm like, what do you mean by not strong enough? Strong enough compared to who?
Yeah.
Compared to what? Like just do the meet. Like compete against yourself for the
Yeah.
first meet. Just practice it.
Yeah.
Do rep after rep. You know, it's just like I've never understood I'm not strong enough to do powerlifting because everyone comes in all shapes, sizes, strength levels. Like that's like me trying to compete, looking up at freaking Larry Wheels and be like, oh, I'm not strong enough to do that. Well,
Yeah.
obviously not.
Yeah, you never
You know what
will.
I mean? He's
Yeah.
world elite. Like I'll never be like that.
Yeah.
No,
But you know,
I think there's a really bad, like, it's a really bad mindset to have, like, I'm not trying to compete or I want to go into this.
Yeah.
Your first meet and win, it's like, the best thing is always go, compete, do it, set a baseline
Yeah.
for you to work around,
Don't
get
bomb
some
out.
data of how you compete, right?
Yeah.
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 Have fun, see if you actually like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most meets are
that's-
fucking boring as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to stand around,
Actually, but if you love powerlifting, they're sick.
they're really boring to watch, but they're actually
Yeah,
fun to
yeah,
be in.
yeah,
they're
yeah.
good to be in because things are going, but like they're not. It's
Yeah,
not like
it's not-
basketball where everything's
yeah, it's not
happening. Like,
exciting.
no, it's not exciting till thirds.
Unless, yeah.
There's
Unless you know what's
yeah.
happening, then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, but so it's just like go do it, set a baseline, then you can work from there, right? And then you'll see
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it's been 3 years, I put 400 pounds on my total,
Yeah, so.
right? So it's like just do it, learn, have fun. You'll meet people.
Another thing too is like I to your point, you were saying how people say, "Oh, I'm not strong enough," or I want such and such number." Like, if you, I think that comes from a place of insecurity where people
Yeah.
think that they're literally going to be ridiculed, or people are going to make fun of them, or they're going to be embarrassed because they can't pull 400 or whatever like number they think in their head is good. But like, if you want to make friends and actually see how welcoming the powerlifting community is, go to a meet where your numbers aren't that great and your technique isn't that great either. And you're going to meet 10 people who are going to give you advice, help you out,
Yeah.
make sure you're okay on the day, offer to handle you, make sure everything is taken care of and help you in every single way during your day.
I want to go off on that too, or add on to that, especially if you're in Halifax. Come to Fitness FX.
Yeah, self-plug.
Right?
Self plug, yes, plug. This is where we all go, right? It's a great community. It's a great room. We're
Yeah.
all in there. A lot of strong lifters, a lot of good lifters. It's a fun area to be in. Loud music, if you like it. Going, everyone's laughing, giggling around. We're
Yeah.
helping people out. We're helping each other. It's a community. It's a family, right? So, I would say it's a huge. It's huge. Just find a good environment,
Yeah.
too, right?
It's an individual sport, but it's also a team sport.
Yeah.
I like to say we're
True,
all
yeah.
in this together.
Yeah.
It is.
And we really are. Like if you're training in a room where people are better than you, those people, especially in powerlifting, I found is super welcoming. Like people who are, getting ready for regionals or national level meets or worlds, or fucking Alex Charchuk, who's like one of the best people in the world if you by percentage. These people are going to help guys who are doing their first set of squats.
And they love doing it.
Yeah,
It brings
yeah,
another
they all
happy-
love helping people.
We're happy you're there, right?
Yeah.
Have being in that room, that environment, but also like if that's not like attainable that day, like just training with a partner, someone that's gonna push you to do better, right? See, like me training, I've been training with Alex since I met him back in 2017, since right before my first meet, and we train together all the time. And like there's days where I go in and I'm like, shit, I don't feel like lifting. I mean, I don't think he's ever been like that. He was just born for this shit.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
but there's days where where things go on outside the gym and you need that push. And having a training partner, if you train with Alex or you or anyone, right?
Yeah.
Someone to just push you, say one more rep, one
Yeah.
more rep.
Yeah.
Basically, don't be a bitch. Finish the set, like
Yeah.
do it, right?
Or-
And everyone pushing each other to be better. Is
Yeah, it's
basically
pushing
what
you
I'm
and then
saying.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like pushing you and then also you had a post, the story post the other day, or
Yeah.
yesterday. people being there to keep you to standard.
Yeah,
Right?
Constructive criticism.
Constructive
and having
criticism,
people,
keeping
like
you
people
to
keep you
standard.
honest.
Yeah.
It's nice to be in a room where people are experienced and can
Yeah.
like in powerlifting, and some people take offense to this, and it's funny when you see someone who's like newer to the sport, like they'll do a set and someone will be like, oh, like you should try to get your head up, and they take offense to it. It's like, man, that you're missing the whole essence of this.
Yeah.
Like every single time I finish a set, I'm hoping that multiple people watched and someone gives me something I can build on, because that's how we all get better together. Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure,
so
yeah.
to kind of derail that, so last point is sleep and lifestyle. So what would you tell? So we already touched on diet, but you know, sleep, lifestyle. What would you tell someone who's just beginning in powerlifting?
Well, I'll tell you, age plays a factor on everything. So if you're young, if you're in your teens, your early 20s, lifestyle, like, okay, well, sleep first off, like everyone knows, I like 7.5, 8 hours. I personally I would say like 8 to 9 hours sleep. That's if you can. I know it's not attainable for everyone, but you younger people that are still in school and you don't have jobs and careers, you can push the sleep a little bit. Just go to bed earlier, get off your phone earlier. But lifestyle, like if you're younger, if you drink, you know what I mean? That's going to be a big one. If you get like to go out in the nightlife, like I did, and I still like to drink a little bit, but within reason, right? Like because drinking, like when you're trying to lift and stuff, drinking plays a big role. You can't just go out and drink 20 beers and then come in the next day and think you're going to hit PRs, because it ain't going to happen. I've been there, right?
I've done it once.
I've done it way more than once. But if you go out like now, for example, like if I go out and have a few beers, I don't really drink more than 4 or 5 beers.
Yeah.
And then I'm fine the next day. It's dependent on the person.
Yeah, like for me, that number's 3.
Yeah.
If I have more than 3 beer, I can start to feel. I'm not saying I'm fucking crazy hungover. I'm skipping the gym.
Yeah.
But when I'm in the gym, I can feel a difference after having 3 drinks.
Yeah. But so that's the biggest thing with younger people. I mean, well, people my age as well too, right? Like I still like to drink. But yeah, just making sure like you have like a balance, right? Like you don't have to quit drinking or quit socializing or anything when
not have friends
and not have a life because you want to live, just within reason, you know. And I mean, like when it comes to like drugs and stuff when you're younger, like that's kind of up to you. I personally don't do drugs, and that's not something I ever dabble with, but it's just like lots of different things. And then stress with lifestyle as well, school stress, work stress, life stress, that's all going to play a role in the gym. I personally find that'll play more role in the gym than me going out drinking. The stress and like outside stuff.
Yeah, and that's a really good point as well, actually, with stress, because your body doesn't know what's stressing it. It just knows that there's stress, right? Yeah, exactly, right? So it's all being poured in that same bucket, all these different factors, and it is your job as an athlete, right, to manage those factors and variables that you can control, right? So it just, you keep that in mind, where it's like if you're a student, you have a big like an exam week with 3 exams coming up, you're probably not going to perform that well.
In the gym.
Yeah, and if you have a coach, let them know, because they can take that as a deload week for you, time things around.
I do that with my one client, he's a med student.
Oh man, that's
Jesus, like when it comes to like exam weeks or midterms or whatever, I just deload him every time, because like his numbers will be like half of what he can normally do.
You're not sleeping,
he's not
stressed
eating,
out.
sleeping. He's just off the rails, right? Which is things are gonna happen. It's gonna happen all the time. Like you're gonna have different things that play a role, so you just gotta kind of adapt and do the best what you can. Like when in doubt, when you're really stressed, it doesn't hurt to just deload and just practice the movements. Do it as like a practice week, right?
You're gonna have ups and downs too in training.
Yeah, see, I should take some more of my own advice. But like when I'm really stressed out, I just want to push harder, and then it doesn't turn out the way I want to, and then I get more ticked off. So it is better to do a deload and kind of chill, practice the movement, sleep more, relax, go for a walk. I find that helps with anxiety and stress.
Just active recovery. Blood flow, active recovery.
Reading, I recently started doing. I'll just pick up a book, chill, read, shut everything off, shut my phone off, hide in my room.
I heard you made it up to the letter G, actually.
What?
The A, B, C, D, E, F, G you're at. You said you started reading.
Pretty much. You confused me on that.
That's fine. I'm sorry. I think that was just a bad joke.
Those are dad jokes.
Okay, so to summarize, try to actually get some sleep. Kids that are younger, like 16, 18, like I remember when I was a kid, I would be okay with only getting 6 hours just so I could stay up and do things with my friends, play video games, talk to girls, fucking whatever, right? But yeah, if you have a little bit more discipline with yourself, that can go a long way. And yeah, as far as lifestyle, now one thing that none of us plugged, funnily enough, is coaching.
Yeah.
So that I think is so key to making progress at an early age. Like, get a coach or be on a program as soon as you can.
Yeah, and I will say, like, it's like a program or coaching.
Yeah.
Right? Powerlifting sports, but like, you don't really need a coach, but it will benefit greatly if you want faster progress,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because there's so many generic programs
Yeah.
all over the place. Like, I have a free one, you have a free one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have anything like that at all.
I used to. I thought about doing that as
Yeah.
well, honestly. But yeah, just having a program, having something you can follow and
Yeah.
you progress slowly each
Yeah.
week, and you don't overdo the weights every
And
session.
someone who's smarter, more experienced than you is the one who designed it, so you know that it's at least better than
what
you
someone
did.
who started. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's,
like, we're all coaches and we all have a coach.
Yeah.
So like anyone can benefit from a coach and then just following a correct routine.
it's
So-
the same thing. It'll someone help keep you accountable.
Yeah,
Make
that's
things
it.
that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do
still
Bulgarian
here.
split squats sometimes, but they're going to
Front
be there.
squats.
Fuck, I'm going to do front squats. If they're there, I'll do them. But I was like, I'm not going to want to.
We'll
do
make
them.
that another podcast episode. We'll just do a 40-minute podcast.
Just front squats.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's having someone there to help guide you a little bit and speed it up, and then actually manipulate it so it fits you, your body, your
And a
ability to
second set of
recover.
eyes too. Like,
Exactly.
Just
right.
because you're, I don't know about you guys, but yeah, just like the fact that I paid for a coach to do my
adds
program.
accountability, totally. Yeah.
Like, you're gonna do something you pay for. See, like, I've done programming for myself
Yes,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
past. I can do it. I can make progress, but there's little things that I'll tweak and change, and I won't do.
Yeah.
But if I'm paying someone to do it and get it all ready for me, and I don't do it, then I'm wasting my money, and I won't do that personally.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I look at that
You
one.
feel
but-
stupid if you're throwing money away, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, so I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that. I think we're good there.
Yeah, I think that was a good talk.
Yeah. All right, cool. So thank you very much for watching. And again, we'll be dropping these weekly, we hope. Please like, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. That helps us out if you feel so inclined. Thank you very much. Peace.